There was a young boy from Andalusia who decided to be a shepherd following his dream to travel the world, instead of becoming a pastor, as his father wanted him to. He is so used to being a shepherd. The sheep he nurtured became a part of him that he cannot imagine himself being anything other than a shepherd. Every year, the boy would go to a village to sell the wool of his sheep, and there lived a merchant's daughter he is longing to see. One day, the boy had a dream about a treasure he would find in the pyramid when he was sleeping under the sycamore tree near the church. And that dream occurred not only once, and he became curious about it. The dream bothered the boy. Then he heard that there's an old woman in Tarifa who can interpret dreams, also known as the Gypsy woman, so he went to her. There, the old woman read his palm and told him to follow his dream, to go to the pyramid and seek his treasure, but then she demanded 10% of the treasure he'd find later. After that, he met an old man called Melchizedek who claimed himself as the king of Salem in the plaza of the town. He told him about the personal legend and inspired him to fulfill that personal legend he had and follow his dream to the pyramid. He also gave him Urim and Thummim, the black and white stone. Just like the Gypsy woman, Melchizedek demanded reward for his companion and advices, reward of sheep from the boy. But after that, the boy was determined to make his dream come true, towards the treasure at the pyramid. He sold his sheep to use the money to go to Africa, Egypt. But unfortunately, he encountered a thief who disguised as a guide and befriended him and left him penniless.
The boy was left dumbfounded with the series of things that just happened before. He is indecisive whether he should go home and return to his normal days or still loyal to his dreams. Now that he had nothing with him, he is forced to work at one of the merchants in town for him to be able to continue his journey. The boy then worked to a crystal merchant in the street of Tangier, a merchant who had been in the same place for 30 years, a shop at the top of a hilly street where now only a few customers passed. He despised changes and unwilling to move to a busier market like the other merchant who wanted their shop to survive. The boy there helped the merchant with some changes that he never imagined doing before, which turned out to be a good decision, and the shop was more successful than ever before. They call it the beginner's luck. There, the boy too earned a lot of money that could accommodate him going home to Spain and buy 120 sheep. But he decided to pursue his dream and personal legend and continue his journey to the pyramid.
The boy joined the caravan that's going to cross the desert. There, he met an Englishman who was an aspiring alchemist and had a great interest in alchemy. He's joining the caravan to go to the Alfoyum oasis, where lived a mighty alchemist who he heard was 200 years old and could turn any metal into gold. On their journey across the desert, there's a rumor of tribal war and warning of thieves and barbarians, and the camel driver said, "Once you got into the desert, there's no going back, and when you can go back, you have to worry only about the best way of moving forward. The rest is up to Allah, including the danger." Throughout this trip, the Englishman tried to expand his knowledge about alchemy through the books he brought, to prepare meeting the alchemist. In contrast to Santiago, he tried to learn about the world from his surrounding, whether it's an inanimate object or people around him. After a few weeks, they arrived at the oasis of Alfoyum. This is the checkpoint of the desert and a refuge from the tribal war, and there also lived the alchemist. The Englishman immediately went for searching the alchemist, but no one seemed to understand of whom he was searching for or what alchemist was. Because of the war occurring ahead, the group had to stay in the oasis until it's declared safe. On that search the boy helped, he got to meet the love of his life, Fatima. One day, the boy got a vision when he was watching two birds flying. That vision was about a tribe invading the oasis. He reported it to the chief of the oasis. After much discussion, the chief believed in him and prepared defense for the people, even though he didn't at first. After that, the boy met a stranger, a horseman. He was taken back that the stranger knew a lot of things about him and his dream, and that moment he knew that he was talking with the alchemist he is searching for.
The next day, the chief prepared 2,000 armed men, following the boy's vision. And before the sun reached high, 500 tribesmen appeared on the horizon to invade the oasis.
Thanks to the boy's vision, they could handle and win over the tribesmen. Then the chief presented him 50 pieces of gold and asked the boy to be the counselor of the oasis. After the invasion, the boy went to see the alchemist again, this time with the Englishman. Rather than earning any secrets from the alchemist, the Englishman was told to start trying and not to be afraid to fail, which he never tried to start before. Knowing the boy's dream and personal legend, the alchemist offered to accompany him continuing his journey to his dream, the treasure of the pyramid. He left Fatima, Englishman, his group, and the oasis and followed the alchemist's suggestion.
Along the way from oasis to the pyramid, they tried to avoid the war. But one day, some soldiers captured them. But they revenged themselves by giving out all of the boy's money to the soldiers. In return, they got 3 days to do what they told them. The boy had to prove or show them that he can turn himself into the wind, which he did and mesmerized the people there. Because of that, the soldiers let them go. The boy and the alchemist then continue to the Coptic monastery, where they're going to bid farewell to each other. The alchemist showed him his ability to change metal into gold, which he gave him some and some other to the monk in the monastery. Finally, he reached the pyramid. He dug the sand all night to find the treasure, but left with nothing on his hands. Then a group of people approached him and robbed the gold he had. Seeing the boy couldn't find any treasure there, the group started to beat him up and leave him alone. But one of them stayed for a while and said that he had a dream too. Right on that spot, they stood the time. He dreamed that he should travel to the fields of Spain and look for a ruined church where shepherds and their sheep slept. And if he dug at the root of the sycamore tree, he would find hidden treasure. But he didn't follow it and found that idea stupid to travel across the desert just because of a dream. But then the boy realized where his treasure was. He went back to his homeland Spain, but not for his sheep, but for his dream. He dug under the sycamore tree on that church he had first the dream of the pyramid. And after an hour, he found himself a chest full of Spanish gold coins, jewels, precious stones, and others, and then added his own Urim and Tumim into the chest.